Welcome, my friends, to Center of Light. Keith Anthony Blanchard here, Yanava, where my aim is to always be clear. Clear of mind, backed with the power that lives inside of everyone. We would not be in this redonkulous situation that we find ourselves in. And tonight we're going to be talking about that very redonkulous situation with someone I just met 2 days ago. I immediately connected. I knew before I even talked to her. We were just cosmic siblings. It's pretty uncanny. I want to share with you something very powerful that happened to me during my sleepcapade last night. Tonight, my guest is Dr. Motherella Piper, also known as Motherella. This is crazy. Powerful, but crazy. Revealing. Let me get my notes. I'm not going to tell you to you in the form of a story. I'm going to read what I wrote down. I was raised Catholic. I'm recovering now. I was raised Catholic, growing up with this belief system. You know, when I'd wake up from a nightmare with others, bad others, I'd wake up sweating buckshot, cold sweats. That doesn't happen anymore. You come in my experience, I'm going to blast you with light, or I'm going to grab you, start kissing you, and make you wish you never had no part of me. Last night was pretty intense. Very, very intense. I find myself hyper lucid. I was supra conscious. I descended into a parallel hell. My guest is listening, so I'm waiting to get I descended last night into a parallel hell. And guess where that hell is? Right here on earth. Being locked up. Normal people are resulting to things they would never do. People are going batshit crazy. That being said, I want to give you an example of what this batshit crazy looks like. And I mean no disrespect. I use powerful words to make a powerful point. Check it out.
I guess players don't like the fact that he talks so much trash. But he was attending the Philadelphia Eagles playoff win.
I woke up this morning feeling like that because last night I was hanging out with that. I found myself in an apartment. And in this apartment, it was gorgeous. And everything you've ever wanted was in this apartment. Lots of food. Lots of pizza, actually. Very, very clear to me. Lots of pizza. Sex by in. Your favorite situation just immediately manifests. It sounds like heaven. I remember looking and seeing what now I'm going to start reading, so it's not going to be told in a really, I'm just reading out these notes I wrote down. There were these keys, and I remember clearly seeing 107. They were codes. They were demonic codes. They were demonic symbols. Holding things down as a gridlock, if you will, lockdown. It was a code holding all this in place. Like I said, there was food, drugs. It was the next layer of this earth. It was so paper thin, this dimension. I felt a lag in time. I would speak, but I couldn't hear the sound to 2 seconds later, and it was tough. Like molasses kind of thing, moving through this kind of density. I was sluggish, and I was lagging myself. I felt drugged. I even asked, I wonder who would drug me and what with? Thinking I was there. While I was there, I would close my eyes. Listen to this. I was closing my eyes in this sleep experience to take a nap on a bed. And as I was closing them, metaphorical, going into darkness from being able to see, as I was closing my eyes, this creature, this demon, if you will, I don't believe in the dogmatic nonsense. I don't. But this was definitely a close representation of that. As I would close my eyes, he would come from behind a corner. And when I would open my eyes, he would just simply withdraw. And so I did this a few times to realize how he was reacting and what he was using as leverage. So I decided I'm going to close my eyes and let him come upon me. And that's going to be all she wrote for him. And so I did this. Let me continue with my notes. Now this is the strange part. Getting out of this experience, when I came to my bedroom, When my eyes would open, obviously, it would just simply all go away. I closed my eyes just to go back to sleep, and I swear to you, 30 seconds after my eyes was closed, I was back in it again. This happened for 10, 15 minutes. It was driving me bonkers. It was very strange. Strange, strange, strange. I've been feeling giddy all day. It was getting to me. And listen, I'm a very strong individual. I'll pat myself on the back. I'll massage my heart. I'm a very strong individual. Today was tough for me. I was going batshit crazy. That was the energy of the experience. That little demon I showed you dancing in that GIF. When people get into this state, being locked in, locked down, the gates of hell open. Trust me. People do things they would not normally, and I don't believe in a dogmatic hell. So basically, I'm going to take this time and purpose intentionally say fuck 5G. I live 500 feet from a tower. 500 feet. But I use that energy because it's neutral energy. There's nothing out there trying to harm me. But at least today I wasn't feeling in alignment with being able to spin and win this energy as I need to be in balance for myself. I was losing it. Continue on so I can bring my powerful guest on today. I wasn't afraid. I was just there to see it. Yes, it was metaphorical for my dreamscape and what it could mean for Keith. I get all that. This was truly a visit to a dimension. What I truly believe, emphatically through my bones, was a looming layer. A layer that is looming over this entire fucking planet. The invisible one we can't see. To give you a taste of what this was like, when you get a moment, go to your Facebook inbox as if you're going to send someone a GIF. And in the GIF search, look up the word weird and start looking through some of those GIFs. You will get this feeling of, this is just not cool. Start scrolling through it. I can hear them when I was laying down to go to sleep. I can hear them talking. Them, whoever the them were. My accomplishment about this experience last night was that I was confident and powerful and not afraid to be in this place. In fact, I was throwing these energies, these entities, challenges to test my abilities and not get pulled into the experience beyond my will or into what I often refer to as nonsense. That to me is mine literally in a hell and metaphorically in earth hell. It's not good for people to be inside. That being said, I want to tell you about my guest this evening, Dr. Motherella Piper, aka Motherella. Let me find my short bio on her. I like it short and to the point. Let me find her cam, and there she is. So let me tell you about my guest tonight. I'm excited. Now I'm really giddy. Hello, everyone. I don't really dialogue with the audience when I do interviews because I really want to focus on my guests, but you are loved beyond measure. I love you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Share this everywhere. Dr. Piper says, I am the messenger, voice, and vessel for the spirit world. I tell their stories as they want their stories to be told. She's a psychic medium, author, and doctor of natural health. Dr. Motherella Piper, Motherella, welcome to Center
Hi.
Light. Dear Lord, I'm graced with your presence. I was fucking flabbergasted watching you in your passion and in your fire saying, I'm not trying to be right. I'm in this fire because I feel illuminated in expressing myself in this way. And I contacted you as soon as you were done, and you said, "Sure, let's do this thing, Keith." And so here we are. Thank you for joining. How do you want to start off? How do you want to start off this beautiful mess?
Well, I was listening behind the scenes, and I have some input on those dreams, that lucid dreaming.
Please. If you like.
For people who don't know me, I don't know if you're going to want to know me or not after this, but I'm pretty raw, pretty authentic, and pretty blunt. But I've been talking a lot about we're in the storm. We're actually in it. I'm talking about how we're already in hell on earth here. And some of your lucid dreaming reminds me of two things. When you said keys, there's a huge correlation with the keys, because the keys are a representation of the human sex trafficking. The keys, if you look at the history, silence the children. there is keys on their artwork showing how these kids are caged and locked up, and the keys are what's going to release them. And you also mentioned the number 107, which breaks down to a 17. And I don't know for those people who follow Q Drop, but April 17th, 17 was one of the largest days of the drop recently. And so it's very interesting to me that you had keys and the drops going on the 17th mirrored into this, or merged, I'm sorry, not mirrored, but merged into this lucid dream state you are. Because if anyone listening follows what's about to come through based on this ascension and what's really going on behind the scenes and how we're at a war between the dark and the light, we're about ready to make the shift from light to dark. There is a huge connection with those two words you told me. Like as soon as you said it, I'm like, oh, I know exactly what he's dreaming about. It's almost like you had this super conscious experience to show you that you're a light worker and that you can help fulfill your duty here by bringing light to people even through the darkest times, which is what I'm doing. And so part of that was probably scary, to even encounter those demonic beings or whatever. But at the same time, I'm more like, bring it because you're going down. Bring it, you're going down. We've had enough. Many people right now have had enough of the evil and the greed and the hurting of humans, and we have completely lost sight of humankind and the idea of love and kindness and giving back and restoring and healing our world. It is about healing right now, and it is on, and there is no way to stop the ascension. Nobody can stop it. It is here, and we are in it, and the storm is now. So I'm very impressed by your lucid dreaming, because for me, right when you were talking at it, I'm like, I know what that is. I know what that is. It's interesting.
Well,
So
I can't believe that you don't know who I am. That's why you're so impressed.
I know who you are.
I've had this all of my life. Angelic beings, extraterrestrials, ultra-terrestrials, demonic. So I'm well grounded in understanding what I know to my fullest potential in this present state of my awareness, what reality is. And what it is for me is I use the barometer of bliss and joy and possibility always as my measurement stick. Everything else to me, again, I love this freaking word because it's powerful, is nonsense. Yes, I even play in the arena of nonsense because of my own unawarenesses. I would like to ask you, because we are so now definitely into the end, to the new beginning. December 31st, I did a presentation for New Year's Eve. And I'm in vessel mode, right? So Yanava, and he comes in, and I said, tomorrow when you wake up, your life is going to change. Nothing is going to be the same. The whole world's dead. And this is all unfolding. How do you suggest people see this new spin, this new thing that's happening, this actually ancient thing? This return to what we did not get right 26 whatever thousand years ago. What would you like to share with the audience so they can understand what this is and how to best find themselves planted through all of this, through all of it?
Okay, so the best way I can do it is, for those who don't know me, I have years and years and years of studying science and quantum physics and spirituality and natural health, and obviously my psychic mediumship work, all blended together. So how I've always taught it is that, and I'm obsessed with the human mind because I've studied it for so many years, and how it pertains to spirituality. And we have 3 levels of consciousness, and people right now in our world that is being a part of this ascension process, this great awakening, that might be unaware of the conscious levels, need to understand that we have 3 strong levels of consciousness. And those levels start with the 3D, which is your subconscious, which I like to call Earth. Then there's the 4D, which is just sort of stuck between the 3D and the 5D, and that is your conscious level, which is your rationalization. Subconscious level is the 3D. That is all your fear, your worry, your hype up, your chronic anxiety, all the mythical beliefs, all the Debbie Downing, and all the we can't and I won't and I can't have, and the lack thinking, where the 4D is more of your rationalization. You're trying to figure it out, right? You're trying to figure all this crap out and you just don't know how. So I always treat it as like you're kind of hovering between the sky and right past the clouds and getting ready to kind of break through in the galaxy. So you're kind of hovering over, looking down on Earth in the 4D. And then we make that shift. And that shift is your liberation. That shift is your breakthrough. That 5D goes right straight into the galaxy, your superconscious, which starts at the top of our head. And that is where all your connection comes from. Your higher self, living your best authentic life, connecting with your spirit world, your universe, God, your faith, everything. And when you are going through something like this and it appears to be in front of you, if your people are watching my hands, the 3D lets us see things right here, where the super conscious lets us see things like that, where you're expanded. So people that don't know, I just gave you a basic intro to the levels of consciousness and then gave you a similar experience when it comes to like Earth versus the sky versus the galaxy, so you can kind of understand what's happening. But the super conscious shift is where people want to be, and here's why. We are done with suppression. I'm done watching people live a lack in life. I'm done. We are all entitled to a better life. All of us. We all have it in us. I don't care how you were born, where you were raised, what culture you were brought in, what country. It's all in us. Now, do some have opportunities greater than others? Yes. But I don't care about those. I'm talking about the innate abilities that we are born with. It is our birthright to live vibrationally well. It is who we are and is who we are meant to be. So when you are going through this, a lot of your listeners might be feeling very off. I always try to teach people in terms of what they're feeling. So you might be feeling off. You might be more emotional than normal. You might have frequent headaches. You may be going back and forth from feeling happy and sad. But then sometimes you actually may end up in a mode of anger that came out of nowhere. This is all part of the process. We are meant to feel uncomfortable, and people don't want to feel uncomfortable.
Thank you so much. Sadhguru says, truth is not a tincture salve nor a band-aid. It's a ball buster. It's a chop to the throat. It's a punch into the solar plexus. Because when we get into our comfortable little zone, if we ever expect to achieve this ascension, or whatever word a person chooses, heaven on earth, or just feeling as blissful as a person can possibly be, obviously it's not happening in the box. So something has to come along and open up the lid. And sometimes that lid is to crack your skull open and put in something else in. And it can be very uncomfortable, yes.
Sometimes. So we are meant to be uncomfortable right now. And it's in the times of, discomfort, and it's in the times of the dark discomfort that you actually can finally see the frickin' light. And you might need help from the light workers to guide you to that light. I always tell my followers, I have a huge following. They've followed me for years. I've been doing this for 14 years professionally. And I always tell them, my opinions and my judgments do not matter. I will never project my belief systems onto people, but here's what I will do. I will give you the links and the opening to do your own research. And I will make sure that the way I'm explaining it is dummied down enough where it's relatable. And most importantly, I'm going to make sure it empowers you for you to do it yourself. Because I'm not here to have you follow me. You're not following me. You're following the content. I could care less if you follow me. You don't even have to like me. You can unfollow me. That doesn't matter. But if the content makes sense and the content is vibrationally making a change for you, then I'm doing something damn right.
Well, because you're a true light worker. Same with me. I tell people my goal is always. You and I had this chat the other day after we met. I said I hope that I get so clear that in a lesson I ever convey, that you never have to go, quote, go back to another except for the point of entertainment. I want you to do
Yeah.
this thing because in your doing of this thing, I benefit as well because we're all in this together. We're all not and not the this from the nonsense that's happening today, but we're all in this trip to Earth together. And when the power of the diversity comes together as one, oh my God, it
Mm-hmm.
gets just freaking crazy powerful, and we begin to see new miracles, and we get to see things we never saw before and never even dreamed possible. Because we live in this dogmatic view. I don't deserve it. Nobody's ever. It's been this way for thousands of years. It's
Yeah.
always going to be this way. All these different dynamics and models that people just succumb to.
Yeah.
How is it to be Dr. Michelle Piper, aka Motherella, in lockdown? I think this is a very important question because I made myself vulnerable today. As strong as Keith Blanchard is, I'm good. Today, I wasn't that. I mean, some beautiful Kelly Bauman said, Keith, why don't you go outside and play your guitar? It's like,
I did see that.
how perfect of a freaking model of an idea is that? And so that was beautiful for me. How are you doing through all this, you and your family?
I have to say we're vibrationally doing well. I mean, my kids were already prepped, and I had started. I made this joke, but I can't be any more serious. When others were running out getting toilet paper and you know paper towels, I was out pumping my kids with immune boosting agents as well as myself. That's the doctor side of me. And I enjoy having my kids home. So I like not being on a schedule. I don't like being caged. It's not in my nature. So we're doing well because they like being home. They're all bonding. Their homework is done. They're all doing better with grades because they're not on these constrained time slots, and they're not pressure cooked to wake up at a certain time and end at a certain time. And it's really I'm awakened just by watching them too as a mom, because I'm noticing that they're happier. My kids are happier than they've ever been. They're not tired, they're not fatigued, they're eating well. They've eaten the best they ever had. I mean, I'm already instilling organic and healthy choices to begin with, but now they're doing it on their own. I don't even have to ask. They just go in the fridge and
So,
make their
so
own
that
food.
being said, relatively speaking, for you, this is somewhat a leg up to closer to paradise, and for your kids. So
Yeah.
everything is relative. I have a friend of mine, but I'm not going to give his whole name. His name is Dennis. He's a truck driver. His life just hasn't changed. So why is that so that my guest, as well as this guy named Dennis, their life hasn't changed? In fact, in some regards, for whoever you are, your life possibly got better.
Mine
And for
got better.
others, it got worse. So, what is the absolute truth in all of this? Because the absolute truth would hold as that which is buoyant for both sides,
Mm-hmm.
not
And
a
I
Bible,
also, yep.
right?
And I also think perception, because for me, I am more focused now. I am more connected to my clients than ever. There's been a shift in myself. I mean, I know I'm already crazy lunatic when it comes to 5D and talking to the afterlife and all that, but my I've leveled up in the ascension again. And I thought just when you think you can't go anymore, you go.
And that's the point. I thank you for that. And I think that's exactly what not only the point she's making, but that's the point of all of this. It's
Mhm.
to get us to level up. You
Level
got to
up.
level up. In fact, there's no more middle ground. You can't stay at this level.
No.
You're either going to level up or you're going to level down.
Hmm.
Down meaning you're not really going to go down. You're just going to stay here and all that comes with it. And
Yeah.
all that comes with it is not a pretty picture at all.
It's not. And
No.
I got to be honest, Keith. I say this to my people on a lot of my lives. I said a lot of times when I'm praying, no, I have such profound faith, nothing can scare me, nothing. And I've always kind of said to the universe when I'm praying, like to God, my angels, my spirit guides, dimensional beings, that I didn't make these choices here on earth. I didn't choose the laws, the human laws. I didn't choose the drive about money. I didn't choose the violence. I didn't choose any of that. And I'm a victim to that, right? Technically, because I'm born here in this lifetime, and I'm here, but I didn't choose these external things. However, I can choose to not keep being a victim of it. And I'm choosing to make a difference. I'm choosing to deposit back until the day I die, to get people to connect with themselves, connect with their higher source, get a better relationship with God and spirituality, and by far get a better relationship with humans and people and animals. There's no reason why you can't choose that. It's all perception.
Would you say that there's no way you can not do that? In other words, what I'm saying is, like you just explained, there's no way, like you with me, there's no way I can ever stop this thing
No.
that lives inside of me, lives
Yeah.
inside of you, lives inside of many people. Says, I'm sorry, you may have earthly pleasures, but as of December 31st, that was shot.
Yeah.
I hope you shot, speaking of shot, I hope you shot your human wad, because now you're going to engage. And I never wanted to get out of it. It was my life since I started this whole path. Now that the ball is really rolling, this is where mine, yours, and people of the like, our best work comes. The question I want to pose to everyone, you may ask, am I a light worker? Well, of course you're a light worker. Your body is made of energy. You radiate a bioenergetic field 98.6 degrees. If you go out to a 98-degree temperature day, you would say hot. And so you radiating this light. If you didn't radiate light, people couldn't see you. You'd be dead or invisible. And so are you a light worker? Well, your nature is light. So what you can do is become the best you possible. Whatever that is for you. Because right now you have no choice. Become the best you possible. And when you do that, you become infectious to those around you simply by being yourself. And when you're fullest potential, that begins to grow like wildfire. And you know, when you and I were talking in the green room the other day, we were coming up with a show title. And you said The Awakening, and not just a spiritual cliche, The Awakening. And you were sincere about it because I know you. I use the word shift, that there is a shift happening. Not only everybody's shifting, but there is going to be a divide. And in fact, it's already happened. It's already happened.
In the shift.
There's a divide. And groups are going to group up with groups, smaller, bigger groups. And everyone is finding their placement in the final act of the old Earth's grand play.
Yeah.
Do you see that that people who believe this, it's okay, but they're going to go over here. And people that believe that, and that's okay, they're going to go over here. But the two subgroups are going to be this or that.
Yeah.
Do you see that as well?
I do actually, and I'm glad you brought that up, because that is something I've kind of been predicting for a while, and I've prepped a lot of my followers for that kind of, like you said, subtitle, where I always call it free will of choice versus free will of guidance. If you're going to choose to stay in the 3D, then you're going to live this way. And those who choose to live in the 5D and vibrationally authentic will live in this way, and somehow we'll have to blend together because we're on Earth, but it's going to be it's going to be looked at in a very new way.
I love that you said that. I want to say two things real quick, and I really would love to hear you echo whatever comes in that little psychic heart of yours. I didn't say psychic mind, psychic heart, sister. One is, there is something for me that is very palpable, very real. And I understand that we live in duality, and so we say it's either this or that. I'm seeing something, and I have for a while. There's a third component. And see, it's obvious to see that if you look, and it's obvious to see that if you look. But there's the something else, and that's something else. I don't really mean that, but that something else is the 0 point. It is that which is the master of these two extreme polarities. So now that we have the people that are splitting and choosing, I offer a third reality, which is I am so freaking connected to that which is, There's nothing else. And so the storm can gripe. Some people love taking naps in storms.
Right.
Some people, it scares a little bit out of them forever. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah. I think you're totally true. I think you're dead on. No pun intended, but dead on. Yeah. And I do believe that I like how you said this just is. You said that. That's very powerful. It just is. Did you catch yourself saying that?
Yes.
It's even when you said it, I felt like a chill.
And so right now, I forgot the second component that I was going to ask, but either way, it'll come back to me and I'll politely or impolitely walk on your toes, and we'll get to that when it happens. I just received, and I don't necessarily want to, and I'm not going to say that thing that is happening to us as to why we all being locked down. That's like mentioning the name of the devil, Azrael. You don't want to do that because it creates a whole bunch of, so we're not going to I'm going to just call it the nonsense.
I know why we're in lockdown.
Let me say this, and I want to for sure hear that. I just received from a friend of mine, which is a true story, it's not fake news, that Tennessee's governor declared that no later than April 30th, lockdown is going to end. So my thought was, let me find, because I want to say exactly what I wrote, or I can paraphrase it, is. Does the governor of Tennessee know, come April 30th, what the virus is going to do? If he's that psychic, I will vote him in again next year, next session. Or is the virus, the deadly virus that's out there, supposed deadly virus, is it aware of the governor's timeline and will expire by the governor's wishes?
Interesting.
So my point is, something really stinks. I don't get it. And again, I said this last night, is vaccine. I understand the idea of vaccine if it was as pure as we were made to believe. Mm-hmm. So if a vaccine is offered, this is truly a ball buster, because you cannot, whoever you are, use a general, you cannot paint yourself out of this corner. If a vaccine that was to save the human race, then there's no way they would let you not have it. No way they would let you not have it. Because you cannot walk this earth and not have this vaccine, because you are a potential threat to the entire existence. So if they give you a choice, it's automatic nonsense. Keith, they want to vax you because they're trying to stop you from being the threat. Mm. This is just horseshit to me, dear.
It is horseshit, because as a doctor of natural health, and I've studied the human body, I've taught the human body, I worked as a professor for 4 years at 2 universities, I've taught biology, pathophysiology, medical terminology, health and science department. Obviously, I have a passion for natural health because I know what the human body is capable of through our own natural healing. I know how the DNA can change, all from our own natural healing, from our mindset, and more importantly, from the foods that God has put on this planet for a reason. So with that said,
excuse me. For the listening audience, just to let you know, I know this sister right here. She's about to get fired.
Yes.
So
you can feel
if you are sensitive to words you call explicit, go away.
I will try to curb that, because I swear
it's okay. No, actually, I don't want you to, and not for ratings and just for effect.
Yeah.
It's because you're speaking your truth, and words have power.
Yeah.
Dear Lord, words have power.
Yes,
and if you mean something as an attention getter to pull someone into a possible idea that could further their expansion, then you just be yourself.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you for that platform, because I do swear a lot.
And also, finally, is if you are not open to the idea of moving into a possibility greater beyond what you have known, which is your comfortable little role model about the virus or the this or the that, or wherever this platform, this conversation goes tonight. Again, I understand. It's raw. It creates a cognitive dissonance, and it's a very uncomfortable feeling.
Yep.
And as Dr. Piper said just a minute ago,
And I want
it's
people
meant
to
to
feel
be
uncomfortable.
uncomfortable. Exactly. Thank you.
It's
Please
meant.
continue. Please tell us about
It's
all
meant.
that.
And it's not, I'm not, I get fired up only because I know what the natural body's capable of, and I know how our bodies can heal so quickly. And I just want to have people do their research, because if you think something made in a factory with toxins and chemicals can actually heal or prevent in the human body when our bodies are fucking machines, think about our bodies. We are machines. We're bionic, my
Divine
ass.
machine. Divine
We
machines.
are divine bionic beings. And so anyone who wants to sit there and argue the fact that something chemically developed by someone, by the way, who wants to depopulize the human race isn't for money, then you're losing your shit, because the things can cure from our lovely sun, our lovely foods that are grown in the ground, and anything that boosts that immune system. Things can go and become suppressed, just like they're suppressing us now by sticking us in the house. You think your recirculated air in your home without the sun is keeping you safe? You're out of your mind.
I said today, darling, I said today, someone made a post on my wall, and I said, I said this last night when you made an appearance in my presentation. This has become the new symbol for slavery.
That's
Because you can't
exactly.
breathe in the precious divine air, breath of your divine maker, nor are you allowed to speak.
Yep. And
What the
you're
fuck is that?
recirculating all that. And the virus supposedly is droplet precaution, which means it's not airborne. Why are we wearing all these masks? It's droplet. There is nothing that show that it's airborne. So why are we? You literally have to spit, drop, live, host it, then put it back into your body for you to get it. So if all I'm saying is, again, I'm not here to give people my opinion, but I've done the research and I know what it takes to a virus to get into a host. I know what it means to get into the body. I know what happens after its droplet precautionary time frame is, when it dies off, when it lives. Do your research. Don't take for granted these doctors who are coming on and these pictures that are being posted. And for the love of God, your media, just go and research virus, understand the biological makeup of it, and then understand how it's transmuted. And you will have your own answers. But people don't do that. They want to listen. It's we're all quick. We want the information like now. Now. I just want to know. I want to know. And then we believe whatever we're told. Well, guess what? The truth is I'm sorry, cancel clear delete. We learn the truth. We learn the truth.
I love it. Cancel, clear, delete.
Cancel clear delete. We learn the truth, and a lot of us don't want to learn. We're too quick. We need to know in 5 seconds. And that's why this awakening is tough for people, because the truth is we're all sheep and cattle and asleep right now. Not all of us, cancel clear delete. Again, majority
I love it.
are like sheeple, like sheep, cattle. Oh, you told me to stay in. Oh, okay, I'm gonna stay in. Oh, I gotta wear a mask. Okay, gotta wear a mask. It's like, why? I'm not wearing a mask. I'm not practicing your bullshit, because I know that I can get worse doing so. I need sun, I need immune system, and I need fresh air.
And I need
I'm
God.
good.
I need something that is a beautiful experience and a beautiful possibility that helps me to turn inward, to go upward, to go forward towards something that everyone is truly deserving. No one is really talking about just being a simple, decent, loving, powerful human being. They want to freaking sedate you. It came to me, thank you for the trigger, which was media, and is most people say, well, I mean, and I look, information is out here. Information is beautiful. Wisdom is here. When we were talking about, when I gave those 2 possible models and I forgot, the other one was about the media. What are your thoughts about people going, well, I understand what the media is and I understand that, but I just want to keep up current. What are your thoughts about that?
That is not current information. They are being told what to tell the audience. They are they are navigated in a way where almost every station talks and says the same thing. They look robotic. So you're in the only way to get truth is to look for it. The only way to get truth is to learn it. You're not going to get that from your media. The media skews numbers, they hype up things, they put you in fear, and fear-based media keeps you in the 3D. And here's another thing, as a
Yes.
psychic medium,
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, many of you don't believe in a psychic medium, right? You don't believe in our predictions. Well, why did you believe in all the predictions from the WHO? Why did you believe in CDC's predictions? Because guess what? They all failed. None of their predictions came to be. All the predictions, oh, it's going to be a nightmare. It's going to get worse before it's better. Well, guess what? It got better before it got worse. So suddenly now you believe in predictions. You don't believe in psychic mediums, but suddenly their psychic abilities worked and you believe their predictions. Get it together. Are you going to decide? You can't pick and choose whose predictions you're going to believe, but you can pick and choose what you believe in here. Your own predictions.
Like you, sister, like you, we talked about this at the very beginning of this interview, which is you're here to empower people. I'm here to empower people. Hey, if you want to throw some digits my way, I'll take your digits because I worked my freaking ass off for many years to be in this position to where you and I, we can hang out with these lovely, beautiful, sexy human creatures, right? So I went to school. I went to college. I didn't go to college for 12 years like a doctor. I've been doing this for 30 freaking years. So there's nothing I can do, nothing my guest tonight can do, nothing anyone can do. We could send you the links that say, oh my God, I listened to Dr. Shiva last night and it got me so fired up. Or, oh my God, I listened to Pee Wee Herman last night, it got me so fired up. None of that will work. You have to use a key to open up this gate to help you understand the intuitive language that it so exists beyond the words that are being said. So you can watch the same video that Dr. Piper and I watched, but you will not have the aha effect happen in effect for you so that it will cause an effect and a greater possibility. So you can watch the same stuff, but it will not take you to the same place until you allow yourself to penetrate the nonsense that allows you to step foot in the garden of your soul. Would you agree to that, dear?
I totally agree with that. I love that, how you just explained that. I think that's very powerful and moving too. And I think what you're saying allows people to have an individual perception. At the same time, they can take that perception and choose to grow with it and expand with it, or they can choose to shut it off and
it's all okay.
And it's fine.
It's
And it's totally fine. But that isn't helping the solution either, because we're all meant to be a part of something. And it's not about right and wrong, and it's not about political backing, and it's not really even about judgments and opinions. We are all meant to be part of the solution for humankind, which is loving kindness, end of story, and healing this planet. That is it. There is no other way around it. If it was up to me, there'd be no money. If it was up to me, there would be no fake foods on the shelf. But it wasn't my choice. I didn't choose that. I chose to come back and be a change here, but I didn't make those laws. So now the only thing I can do, or you can do, Keith, is help people awaken and find their own inner voice and their own inner power and their own intuition to therefore develop and expand on to decide how they want to live the next 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years here of whatever you have left. That's what we're here to do. And we're not here to tell them how to do it, but we are here to enlighten them to do it.
I've had, like you, many people in the past simply say, Keith, you don't have to listen to me, but just know that when I went jogging yesterday under that rock, I saw something fucking magnanimous. It's up to you to go look for yourself. Yeah. And I didn't go look out of disbelief to go, let me go prove this person wrong. I looked because I wanted something. Mm-hmm. And certain nuggets begin to appear. Mm-hmm. This is a question. One of the first questions I pose to my guest is, Ready? Don't put your seatbelt on, take it off. In the car, put your seatbelt on. In life, take it off. What does it feel like to be you?
That's a challenging question.
Use all your favorite adjectives.
Well,
Yeah.
it's a beautiful feeling to know that I have no fear. I don't feel imprisoned, and I don't feel suffocated, and I don't feel emotionally and mentally paralyzed because I don't have fear. I'm not afraid to die. I'm more afraid of humans than I am of a ghost. So that's one thing. However, it's extremely difficult to not feel you belong in a human world when you have lived this life in this way. It's you don't feel like I feel like I'm in a movie script, like on set a lot of the days. So it becomes very difficult to adapt and to really deal with energies here on earth. So then you have the gift of the dark, and I always tell people, don't believe what you hear, but dark walks this earth. We see it every day. And it's very hard for someone who wants nothing but beauty to have to witness that. And
It's called
intuitively
denial.
know.
It's called denial.
It is.
And people say, I just want to be a positive spiritual person. Denial. It has nothing to do with positivity whatsoever.
Has nothing. It's nothing. So my life is complicated. It's a good word. It's complicated. I'm filled with knowledge. I love studying. I love reading. I have years and years and years of school behind me. But is that enough sometimes? No. It's not about the titles. It's about what you do with it in here. And I will tell your guests, because my people know, I had a shit life. I had a shit fucking life. I have hit rock bottom. I can't tell you how many times I've came from abuse, and I've came from, alcoholism, and thoughts of not wanting to be here, and hitting so many times, just being pulled to the ground and never seeing that light coming out, and crying in the shower sometimes, and just praying for that saving grace, and knowing that no matter how many times I prayed for it, the light would come through, and I had to figure it out myself. There is no mirror, we're shown the light, but it's up to us to go towards it. We can't just expect us to be picked up from this miraculous, fairy dust.
Hence, enter Jesus.
Yes.
Or any Christ, or any Buddhic consciousness, or any elevated person.
Choose to believe in.
Yeah. Nobody's coming for you. Nobody's going to help you.
You're coming for
beings
yourself.
like Sai Baba, beings like Jesus, Swamiji, Paramahansa Yogananda, they're coming here again over and over to remind you how to walk, talk, act, and behave, regardless if you creed, code, and sect, to say, this is what grace looks like. And when you have that, seek ye the kingdom within, and then nothing can touch you. There is no virus. There is no papyrus. There's just nothing that can ever hurt you, because when we understand who walks next to us, we will never be afraid ever again.
Right.
So there is no virus. So if God is omnipresent, what does that mean? That means there is such clarity about me. Am I about this clarity that engulfs me? And if I am, 5G, coronavirus, this, that, or the other, there's nothing out there trying to hurt me. And I think everyone has been, including myself, we all have been convinced and or poisoned and tainted that something somewhere is looming about and is trying to hurt me. And I get that. Look, I'm on the airplane. I get it. I want to know that's a big pit bull behind that tree waiting to take a bite out of my ass
Humans
versus
hurt
not.
Humans. Not some dimensional energetic being.
Correct.
Humans.
Yes.
Hurt humans.
And now that I understand that nothing's trying to hurt me, then everything around me, even the 5G, I'm good. I'm just simply good. And it's that level of confidence that I've heard you talk about in your Spitfire way of doing so. It's just like, my God, my children are fine. I heard you say these exact words. I am not going to get COVID-19. I'm just not going to do it.
It's never going to happen.
It's never going to happen.
Mm-mm. It'll never happen. And it's just because I already know where it doesn't exist in that way. I know it's been hyped up. I know it's been manipulated. I know it's been used in a very bad way. I know the numbers are not truthful. I know. I've been in this industry for over 25 years. I've been in the medical world for 25 years. Trust me, I exited when I knew I couldn't deal with the bullshit. There's a lot that goes behind the scenes, and it's all bullshit. And I
Dr.
had to
Piper,
learn.
I would like to say that for those who are listening, it doesn't seem like we are coming across very bold, boisterous, and raw on purpose. It does not negate nor trivialize nor diminish the sacredness and the preciousness of those people who are dying for whatever
Correct.
reasons, be it
Correct.
car wrecks, be it motorcycle accidents, be it overdose, be it suicide, be it COVID-19. That's not what we are inviting for anyone to believe. What we're saying is, I can't speak for her. What I am saying is, people are dying. And we could say it's COVID. If we use COVID and Corona as a general term to say, well, this is happening under this guise because this is the period we're living in, and they're calling this umbrella of an idea COVID, then yes, COVID.
Mm-hmm.
But this is not what we're saying. We're saying that something is amiss. Something is not right. I don't expect the system to dictate to me what is right, wrong, corporeal, incorporeal. I don't care about that. But information is important. And when we find ourselves in a formation and alignment, it does help us because we do live in this solid, hello, human, sexy soul in this world to help open up the gate to wisdom. But some people are so hunky-dory and so hunkered down into following certain models, even people that you and I respect, like Dr. Shiva and such. And I'm not trying to call people out because I love me some Dr. Shiva. My point is, like you said earlier, that is not the way. That is a light saying, this is a possibility for you. And again, like I said earlier, I use bliss and joy as my compass.
Yes.
And I see the bliss and joy coming out of, let's use them again, Dr. Shiva as my compass. And I see the fire coming out of his eyes and out of his heart. Like I saw with you, I saw your freaking powerhouse fire come out of you. And I was like, she has something, at least for me. And because I'm, quote, convinced of it, I want to share that with my audience. And so from that point, they can do what they want.
Right. And they don't have to, like I said, they didn't see my life. I was on fire then, no pun intended, but it's the truth. It's because back in the day, I saw real death. I worked on, and I mentioned this in my life, I worked on the west side of Chicago. You want to talk about death numbers? Work the ER shift I did, the night shift, on the weekends for 1 month. It will blow COVID numbers away. I had to deal with people setting themselves on fire, overdose, suicide, murder, stabbing, car accidents, heart attack, myocardial infarction. I mean, you name it. I saw it, and I was very young, and it wasn't one or two. There were gurneys lined up in the hallway. We'd have to deter the ambulances because we didn't have enough space to put these deaths. So when you want to talk to me about numbers, let's talk about real people with real illnesses, diabetes, heart attack, cancer. We are seeing death in large numbers. Now,
how many people die of heart attack or cancer in a month? Just throw me a number. How many?
Oh gosh, I wouldn't even know where to begin because
there you go. That made my point.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know where to begin because then you got to, I'm a stats girl, so like you got to look like, okay, is it just United States? Is it just geographically located because some cancers reside higher in other states? Then there's the whole radiation factor. I mean, so like, so I'm gonna say let's just go 3 million. Let's just go randomly 3 million. Let's incorporate it all just for the fun and shits and giggles. And you're worried about.
So the point that you're leading to in this moment is there are bigger viruses, and one of those viruses is hunger and famine. Oh my God, no!
Yes.
And so the point is, we're looking at
There's a virus just in our elite system who's running this world, who's constantly manipulating us and keeping us suppressed. There's bigger viruses as humans to fear than COVID-19.
And so we're looking at COVID-19. Oh my God, it's got our attention because the whoever's that say so that it's most important that you hyperfix and hyperfocus on this thing that blocks your clarity. It makes it up front and to the fore and what it is.
And
Oh
you are
my
what you
God!
fear. Don't forget, you are what you fear. So if you
Absolutely.
fear
And
it, you'll get it.
how uncompassionate is it that we have overlooked famine and hunger? I mean, is that not a greater cancer and virus? Because no one told us to hyperfix and hyperfocus on Africa and these third world countries where these children are skinny as frickin' the letter I.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's terrible. It's terrible. It saddens me to know where our perceptions are. Like how we're so freaked out about something like this, but we're not freaked out about, like you said, famine or our animals getting killed or like us getting cancer by the day because of our terrible food systems, the pesticides and the preservatives, and half the foods in our grocery stores aren't even real. They're nutritionally deficient in everything, and we're feeding it to our children, and you got a mask on, but you're driving through these fast food drive-throughs hyping it up on your French fries and your hamburgers. It's like, I don't get it. Like I don't I can't wrap my human brain around it. I just, there's flu every year, and I think the word pandemic has been totally misrepresented. Um, I would rather have a pandemic of a spiritual awakening than what we're doing. I want to be a pandemic. I want to become the pandemic of spiritual awakening. I want that to be a pandemic. So that way we can really make a shift in this world, because I deal with death and dying on a regular basis every day. I read clients all day, and the death and dying that I deal with, and the grief and the pain and the suffering is not touchable to what we've just experienced. So we forget that there's a world of death and dying much bigger than COVID-19. And what are we doing
but
about it?
here's the point, cosmic sister. It's not up front and center. It doesn't affect you.
No.
Exactly. It affects you and me and people of the like. But it doesn't affect the common folk, the people who are media stricken, the media whores. Media whores meaning some people like to be so in the media so that they can see themselves. But I say the word media whore to mean that you're such a pornographic person because you get off in the media because it feeds your ejaculation jollies to make you feel some fucking point of importance.
Yeah.
But those people in those third world countries, it's up front and center for them. It may not be for the masses of America and certain parts of the world and this and that and that. And so COVID-19, God bless those people who are dying, be it because of there's a real thing called COVID-19 and coronavirus, be it there's a 5G component to it. It doesn't matter. All that is nonsense. What is important is that people are dying for whatever redonkulous reasons that we have been lied to ridiculously, redonkulously over and over and over because we don't know the real truth. But we still cannot lose sight of our brethren and our sistren in the third world countries who have been dying way before all this nonsense started.
And to add to that, don't forget the numbers of dying from COVID-19 are skewed, because if you look at the doctors who really come out and tell the truth, which there many have, anyone coming in with symptoms are automatically diagnosed with it. It doesn't matter what they came in with. They can have a history of diabetes and heart disease. If they come in with symptoms and they die from that heart attack, they are already getting death from COVID. And I think the world doesn't know that because the media suppress that. But me being in the world and hearing from people in the community that are being told that this is what they have to do, that no matter what, their death is labeled as COVID-19, and they use it, here's their wiggle room, because they can't be tested. What? As a doctor, like, this is your oath? You took this and you said that that's okay? Since when do you not So you're just going to claim it and you don't test for it? I mean, who does? That would be like saying anyone who comes in with cancer, make sure you say it's a heart attack. Why?
I just heard that today.
Why
Well, I
are
heard
we
it
doing that?
before, but I saw it
And
today.
I know clients who own funeral homes. Go ahead.
No, please continue.
I
Please.
was just going to say I have clients who have funeral homes that I talked to recently. They got state letters from some states saying they're meant to do COVID.
I saw a post today, not a post, not fake news. I saw a doctor, a respiratory therapist who said, and we've all may have seen the post, you can tell what is true versus fake news by the fire in someone's eyes, by the fire in their voice, by the fire in their heart. That they almost have, in fact, they don't. They have a choice that they're willing to die and put everything they know as their life, which means even if I don't physically die, my reputation can end. That's the people you follow. And this guy said they're fudging numbers. In fact, if you come in a motorcycle accident and we're just not sure that you're going to make, in fact, it's quite likely you're not. If you cough before you expired,
Yes.
COVID-19.
Yes. Yes. And that's what the real people don't hear. And the real people don't know. And let me tell you, anyone who comes forward to say it the truth, I can guarantee you they will be accidentally something happened to them. They don't want the truth told. There's a bigger situation going on here. People, listen. Do your research. Look deeper behind the scenes. There is an elite system going on that is far beyond anything you can imagine, that is controlling a lot of this. Do your research. And people who come out and tell the truth end up gone, silenced, accidental deaths, because they don't want us to know. Well, guess what? Light is going to win this time because too many people are awake. We are done being held back. We are done being suppressed. We are done living in lack. We are done working. And that's what I was going to tell you. I know why we're in this lockdown. The virus to me is the decoy because we were meant to do this. And even in this lockdown, do you know people still, all they care about is the money? That's all.
I want to interrupt you on purpose. You said something, and actually I was going to go there, and when you said it, validated. We're not saying there is no virus. We're not saying there is no this or that.
No.
What we're saying is there is something that is causing people to die. Well, again, people die all the time.
Yeah.
But let's use this as the model. People are dying because of this new whatever thing.
This new COVID.
So that these people are dying.
This new COVID. COVID's been around for a long time.
Oh, yeah. You can see it on Lysol cans.
It's just a different strain. And for the strain to change, it has to be genetically manipulated.
But what I was going to say was people strangely, pervertedly brainwashed. They want to believe that I'm not saying there's not a virus. I'm just saying they want to believe in this thing that is harming me. They will not allow themselves out of this conundrum. One, possibly because they can't. Because cognitive dissonance is so strong. They want to believe that it's a this and a this only. And they immediately trap themselves in a conundrum that it's okay that it could be this, but is it possible? So they never allow themselves to step into a new arena. It's hard to convince people, not that we're trying to convince them, we're trying to give them a leg up, a platform to stand on for themselves. They will not allow themselves out of the Corona COVID box. They don't want to add the possibility. No one knows. Even Dr. Shiva and all those other experts who think they know, and you see the fire in their eyes, they don't even know. They don't even know what the elite is doing and what they are allowing to say that you can say this. No one freaking knows. And since no one knows, the best way to know anything is to simply be quiet. Shut the mouth, shut the brain, step back like you said, and just watch
Just watch.
the Earth's grand play unfold itself. Would you say that? Yes.
Yes, I love that. That's exactly why we're meant to be in lockdown, to sit back and reflect. Instead of worrying about getting back to work for money, which is probably one of the reasons why we're still in lockdown, because the universe does not want it to be about money. They want it to be about healing and healing this earth and getting back to humankind. That's what we're supposed to be doing. And a lot of people are still not doing that. They're feeling the fear of no money. But yes, you are right. Even though we don't know, we might not ever know, because a lot of times the elitists have so much power and so much control. Are we ever going to know? They're going to do what they can to make sure they suppress and hide it. So we don't know. So how do doctors even really have a say? Like, half those schools that they come from, if you look at the foundations of where doctors go to school and who owns those schools and how they're
Right.
taught, what they're told, you're talking hundreds of years.
And it
I
doesn't mean those doctors don't truly emphatically believe what they're
No, it
offering you as a
doesn't.
prescription. It
It
doesn't.
doesn't, but they're
They
all
just go
trained
by.
in a certain way, like to think, and in my I have two PhDs in with natural health and the holistic nutrition. I went two paths because I was like fascinated by both. But do you know, almost everyone I studied under that came forth with all this information back in the 1900s, early 1900s, were gone. Were gone. They silenced them. You're talking hundreds of years ago. They were shunned. They were excommunicated. They were exiled from their communities. Like, this has been ongoing, people, for hundreds of years. Hundreds of years. But now we're putting a stop to it. We're done being controlled.
People are tired.
We're tired. I'm tired.
They're awakening slowly but surely. Even the people who are newbies, they're awakening, and they know. I love in the movie The Matrix, Morpheus says, something has been with you your whole life, like a thorn in your mind. You don't know what it is, but you know something is not right with the world.
Yep. And then here we are putting our lovely families on the front lines, our nurses especially. And I say that with my whole heart because I originally started out as a nurse. And those poor nurses know, a lot of them know more than the doctors, but they're putting themselves in this fear mode, just stepping foot into that. I hope that a lot of them don't attract what they fear and go in knowing this is easily fixable. Like, I can change this. I can fix this. Oh, okay. But I just feel like there's a lot that's changing and we're moving towards a better solution. And I think a lot of people and the light workers are really going to really, really, really put a positive spin on things and allow people to really see past the immediate. And I really hope people that I'm touching or you're touching can get in touch with their own intuition and really trust their own gut and stop being manipulated and brainwashed and mind fucked by the media and the rest of the world, because we are much more powerful than we allow ourselves to be. And we don't need to be dummied down anymore. Everything that we see and hear can be, perceived in its own way, but it's your inner knowing that's going to clear that. It's your inner knowing that's going to really give you the insight to the truth. So I just hope that people gain that clarity. And again, you don't have to listen to Keith and I's opinions, and you don't have to listen to how we're explaining it. But if we at least enlightened you to at least go out and do the research yourself, and you do something with that research and you make even the slightest shift to something that's more authentic for you to live in a very happy life without feeling imprisoned by fear and worry all the time, then we've done a great job together.
From our chat room, somebody is truly enlightened. Carolyn Rondo wants to buck you and I's current, and I love it.
Oh.
And it's a phenomenal, powerful question. She says, you said, you meaning plural, I guess meaning you because I say it the same. There was no virus, so how is there a front line? This is my response to that, and please take over after that. This is not out of defense. It's just truly playing spiritual tennis volley
Yes.
back and forth. Carolyn, thank you for the beautiful, powerful, acknowledgeable, recognizable question or point. You said there was no virus, so how is there a front line?
Are we waiting for me to answer?
No. There has no one is saying that a virus is killing people, or it could be. What I'm saying is people are dying in the hospitals. So in the front line, 5G is very prevalent and prominent in hospitals and places of the like in a very concentrated way because of all the technology. I don't know the answer to why people on the front line are wearing masks. I'm not saying it doesn't help, because even if a mask makes you feel like this and it's not a virus that you're breathing in, the intention of putting on a mask is such a mask is saying, I'm putting on a garment to protect myself from something I don't understand. So the front line, the mask does serve a purpose. So why are these people dying on the front line when there is no virus? So that does bring into question the potential and the possibility of 5G, or God forbid, something else that we don't even know about. And why is it playing out in this dynamic in such a way? We don't know that yet. This is all an unfolding process for you, me, my guests, everyone in this room, everyone is going to hear, in fact, everyone across the world. We don't know what this is and why this demon is reacting and playing out. Anyone ever see the movie Sphere? And, we're looking into the Godhead. We're looking into the Godhead. Here's the problem. The problem is some people call this lockdown a blessing. In fact, some say my life hasn't changed, and some say, oh my God, I'm going giddy like I was today. The problem is this is the mind as it should be. But this is what's happened. We've been so filled with dogmatic crap, belief, and nonsense that we are not allowing this to come through the mind's filter, which is the presence and the illumination of God. And so now that the door, truly, dear Lord, the door to the cosmos and to the divine is open, anything that stands in the way of clarity simply becomes projected on the screen we call reality. And our life can be the radio station, a true soul station, or it can be a radio station of the blues. It's truly our choice. And so we really don't know why it's affecting certain people, certain groups, certain countries. It could be 5G. It could really be what we're calling a virus. It could be a little bit of all that. What is your thoughts about this, Dr. Piper?
So I like her question, and here's the reason why there's a front line, because as an oath we take in the medical community, you are on the front lines when there is a pandemic, no matter what. And you are going to be called to help. And there are front lines for populations where there has been reported numbers, but we have to remember, again, basic statistics, guys. Just go in, look at the numbers, do basic statistics to get your percentages. The front lines that are being reported are your big cities, New York, LA, Chicago. What about the smaller? Have you heard anything about Idaho? Have you heard anything about New Hampshire? Not a word. Montana? How come they haven't been affected? I mean, even if there's one or two, it's probably the flu. And you're hearing it from these main places. Even I did a podcast show and I talked about Italy, because there's 64 million people in Italy, and when you do the numbers in the 4,000, even if we went up, let's exaggerate and go 10,000 deaths, you're talking about 0.00001% of people died. I mean, this is basic statistics that we all learned in school, and the numbers just don't match. It doesn't make sense. Anyone who knows math and does the statistics doesn't make sense. And I got an A+++ in statistics. So for me, it's hard for me to wrap my brain around these numbers the media are telling us, because my stats brain is going, wait, that's less than 2%. That's less than 1%. That's less than 3%. So the front line, anytime there's a world declare, it is our job to be on the front line. I mean, that's why we do what we do for a living. So that doesn't surprise me. That is part of our job. They have to be on the front line. But what's not being reported is the ones that are being laid off, the hospital rooms that are sitting empty, nurses not being told not to come in. I have many people in the community that aren't even working because their hospitals are empty. So you got to be careful what you're saying front line. Are you talking about the busy cities, or are you talking about the rest of the world? Because the rest of the world that aren't having busy cities are not on front lines. They are just working their normal shift. And they're seeing the normal amount of people they normally would coming in and out of the hospital. So again, do the research. You don't have to take it from me. I just gave you the segue into doing the numbers. Go to basic stats, look at the whole population, take it by the numbers of exposures, then take it by the number of deaths, and then calculate it out and do your percentage. You're going to be shocked by the numbers. And I just gave you the formula.
People in general, because they're so dependent upon a system that is for God knows how long, a vision, programs, and by the way, I did with my son yesterday watch Out of the Shadows. Wow! It's not something I didn't already know. It just coalesced everything.
It's
people by quote, I wouldn't say by people by nature. People by unnature want to believe that we're told of something is, be it COVID, be it freaking alien invasion, be it whatever it is going to be, they like the reassurance that they're being assured and secure by a system. Mm-hmm. They won't let go of COVID-19. Even if the freaking news came on and said, this just in, it's not real. They don't want to hear that. They want to hear that it's real and they are safe from a something. Somehow, strangely, crazily, it makes them feel victorious over a something versus there was nothing ever wrong in the first place.
Mm-hmm. The numbers don't match up. They just don't do the statistics. And here's one more thing I'll point out before, I don't know if you're getting ready to end the show or whatever, but let's just say, hypothetically, that April 30th comes. All of a sudden, May 1st, the virus just miraculously disappears. How come we're less infected May 1st after wearing a friggin' face mask all month, as opposed to if I just get off stay-at-home order right now? Are you telling me that because all the people now are going out into the public and are in the world are less infected? So now it's okay May 1st? I mean, why do we have a parameter like that? So are we at risk or are we not? Because I don't think we have been at risk. So, but now because we stay, and I've been challenged. People are like, well, it lessened the curve because we stayed inside. No, it didn't, because the numbers still don't match. The actual death-related numbers, I'm not talking the inflated numbers that came later. I'm talking the original death numbers are still less than 1%. So however you want to look at it. So why is all of a sudden May 1st the day we can finally not wear masks and go out of the house?
Yeah, does the virus know of our deadline when we say we had enough of you? So what I would like to offer before, believe it or not, sister, hour and a half just passed by like that.
That's because we rock it.
Living in no time. Yep. What I would like to say before I open up the platform for my guest, Dr. Michelle Piper, Motherella, all you mothers out there, is we're not saying believe what we are saying about COVID-19 coronavirus. Though it sounds that we came across this way, we're just throwing out possibilities, fixing lures for everyone to take a bite of the apple to see what is a ripe apple or what is sour in your spirit. That's truly it.
And to do their own research.
There's nothing else. And no matter what research I or my guest tonight tell you to do, you are not going to have the same bang for your buck that we got from it. That is all your own self journey. What I am saying is, I can't speak for my guest. What I'm saying is, if God is omnipresent, no matter who you are, listen to me very carefully. You can't paint yourself. You can't get out this corner. You painted yourself in. That we paint ourselves in. No matter who you are. If God is omnipresent, nothing is trying to hurt you. Paint yourself out that corner and contact me when you do. You can't. Nothing is trying to hurt you. Except our reaction and our belief in something that is not real. Call it COVID, call it this, call it that, call it fear-based, call it fundamental Christian, call it fundamental Buddhism, call it whatever you want to call it. That's all erroneous, extraneous nonsense. What is important is that we are in this situation. So what does this situation have for me if God is omnipresent? It's trying to say, my dear one, I am trying to get you to wake up. And so when we see it from this platform, this regard, this, oh my God, this beautiful, loving, sacred space, it's like, oh my God, I'm given the chance again to rise, to become that of the ascension. Your thoughts, your closing thoughts.
Sometimes I just want to sit and listen to you talk because you do it in such an eloquent way. I agree that the kind of faith that I have, for people who say they have faith, if you truly have that much faith, then how come you would second guess your own trust for yourself? If you have that much faith, why are you second guessing trust for yourself? How come you don't trust yourself to know that you're not going to get sick from it? How come you don't trust yourself to know that you're not a victim to all this? How come you don't trust yourself to know the truth? How come you don't trust yourself to know the research behind it all? Like, come on. If you have faith, then you should be able to trust yourself to know that that faith will prevail over anything else. And if you don't, then you're not fully with faith. I have so much faith that I already know. And somebody asked me, would you walk in a hospital right now without a mask? And I
Without a
said
doubt.
100%.
Without a
Because
doubt.
I won't get this. It's not happening.
It's a
And I
posture
just-
of absolute faith. There's no such thing as blind faith. Blind leads people to bump into furniture. There's no such thing as blind faith. You may say, well,
Present
Keith,
faith.
you know, I have so much faith that I believe that things... I get that, and that's a stepping stone to absolute knowing. So what you're really trying to do is confuse faith with a belief, which is a stepping point into a greater possibility. Faith means I know. There is no doubt nothing's going to happen, and I'm good with that. It doesn't mean I'm going to go lick shopping carts or railings at Aldi's or Kroger tomorrow, because I am on the earth, and I need to play the earth game fairly. If not, I'm trying to cheat. And the game of life will whip my ass when the objective of the game of life is to get along, to understand, to play the game fairly. Dr. Piper, Michelle, Motherella,
Yes.
it happened just like that in a cosmic flash. Close us out tonight with something beautiful, whatever. This is your platform. What would you like to say to our listening audience? And I will bring you back soon if you would have me.
Oh, totally.
Share with the audience.
I loved it.
What's
This was so
on
much
your heart?
fun.
What's
Well,
on
I
your
want to
heart?
thank everyone for listening. And like I said, you don't have to believe in what I've told or even like me. That doesn't matter to me. But if you can walk away with just a little bit more knowledge in order to do your own research and to look beyond what the immediate is, then I can assure you that not only will your faith increase and you can start trusting yourself, but you will have that inner power and that spark and that fire back to not be so emotionally and mentally and physically imprisoned by the outer world. Your inner wealth mirrors your outer. So if you don't like your outer life, then we need to work on the inner as soon as possible. And in order to do that, you have to shift perception. In order to shift perception, you have to be able to see from a 5D perspective, which means hovering outside of this earth and looking down as if it's a bird eyes view. And then from there, taking the little pieces of what you want to learn more about in order to know your own truth. But I'm telling you, we're in a time of ascension where there is no turning back from it. There is no way to manipulate it. And more importantly, it is time to move from light to dark, because we have been controlled by the dark for way too many years. And if you're not familiar with Pizzagate, I strongly recommend you research Pizzagate, because you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
Wow. You see, I get you. Many people will get you. Many people do get you. But no matter what, no matter who you are, it's always okay. No one's judging you as higher or lower. No one can explain to anyone the language that exists beyond the words, beyond anything Dr. Piper and or I said tonight, beyond anyone says. They can give you a little thing that makes you go, aha, someone told me a joke, and I get the joke. Why'd the chicken run across the road to get the other side? I get it. But no one can tell you what that is. However, there are people who are illumined enough to understand the language beyond the language. The cosmic language, I'm sorry, my condolences, is not English. It's not English.
It's not.
It's something that lies beyond the words. Now, words help us to get to a place. No one can show you how to do it. Morphew said, Neo, I can only show you the door. You must open it. I really appreciate my time with you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for having me, and thank you for everybody who was listening, and I wish you all the best.
I have been posting your website, so everyone, please do yourself the favor of stomping all over her website and page and follow what she's doing.
I will tell you right now, my website is down till Thursday. We have a technical shift going on. I found out about 4:00 today.
Don't play victim on me now.
I'm not, but I'm just, I was shocked. Instead of all night tonight, the website's not. So we're hoping it's fixed tomorrow. Worst case Thursday. Or I'm sorry, I'm thinking it's Tuesday. I'm sorry. Worst case Wednesday.
Hence the point of this entire presentation. Yeah. She can't remember what freaking day it is.
I can't. I live in the now.
Motherella, thank you. I really enjoyed my time with you.
Thank you.
You're loved beyond measure. Everyone, my wonderful guest tonight. I love these experiences. To me, it's an experience. It just happened in a flash. An hour and a half. Literally an hour and a half. What they call it, experience eternity in an hour. Who said that? Motherella would probably know. My name is Keith Anthony Blanchard. Yah, Nava, Yah, heart, Yah, heart, God, will, power, fire, raw. Get in there and make a sandwich. Na is the mind when it's used in balance. On purpose, reasoning, discernment. Va is the backbone that carries out your father, mother's wishes. So when we have these ancient, primordial, sacred seed syllable parts of ourselves, the Ya, the Na, and the Va, aligned as one integral, solid entity, there is nothing that does not belong to you. You are it, and in the silence, and in the nothing of it all, trust me when I tell you, as your cosmic brother who loves you beyond comparison, everything exists. I'll be seeing you soon.